Welcome to this IELTS Listening Practice Test, brought to you by Spinta, your partner in English exam success. This test simulates the real IELTS listening experience with authentic question types, timing, and difficulty levels you'll encounter on exam day. You'll hear the audio only once, just like in the actual test, so stay focused and keep your pencil ready. Remember to read the questions carefully during the preparation time and transfer your answers accurately. This practice will help you build confidence, improve your listening skills, and familiarize yourself with the IELTS format.
Part 1. Now look at Part 1. You will hear a woman calling a furniture company to complain about a delivery. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning, the furniture store. Thomas speaking. How can I help you?
Hello, I'm calling about an item that was delivered yesterday. Unfortunately, it's damaged.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. I can certainly look into it for you. Can I take your name, please?
Yes, it's Scarlett Bishop.
Bishop. And do you have your order number to hand, Scarlett?
I do. It's 7,305.
7305. Thank you. Let me just bring that up. Ace. Okay, I see the order. It was for a bookshelf, is that correct?
Yes, a tall bookshelf. It arrived yesterday, but when we unpacked it, we found a large scratch all the way down one of the side panels.
I see. A scratch on the side panel. I do apologize for that. We can certainly sort this out for you. Would you like us to arrange for a repair, or would you prefer a replacement?
Given the size of the scratch, I think a full replacement would be best.
Of course. I've put that in the system for you. I just need to confirm a few more details. The delivery was yesterday, the 14th of July?
Yes, the 14th.
And the item was the dark gray color?
Yes, that's right, the dark gray.
Thank you. And do you happen to remember the name of the delivery driver? It just helps us with our internal feedback.
I think his name was George. He was very helpful, I must say.
George. I'll make a note of that. So we can arrange for the new bookshelf to be delivered and the damaged one to be collected at the same time. The earliest we can do that is this Friday.
This Friday would be perfect. What time?
We can't give a specific time, but it will be between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. You'll get a text on the day with a more precise window.
Okay, Friday morning then. Will I get any confirmation of this?
Yes, I'm sending you a confirmation email right now with all the details of the new delivery.
An email. That's great. Thank you so much for your help.
Part 2. Now look at Part 2. You will hear a woman giving a talk about a new community project, a repair cafe. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Fatima, and I'm the coordinator of a new and exciting community project called the Newtown Repair Cafe. I'm here tonight to tell you all about it, and hopefully get some of you involved. So what is a repair cafe? Well, it's a free community event where people can bring their broken household items and, with the help of volunteer experts, learn how to fix them. Our primary goal is not just to mend things, but to teach people valuable repair skills so they can become more self-sufficient and less wasteful. We're fighting against the throwaway culture. We meet on the first Saturday of every month in the main community hall. You can bring along all sorts of things, but we do have one key rule. Please do not bring any large household appliances like washing machines or fridges. We simply don't have the space or the tools for those. But smaller items are very welcome. The entire project is run by volunteers and is funded completely by donations from the public. We don't receive any official funding, so we're very grateful for any small contribution you can make to help us cover our running costs. We have a, quote, parts table with donated screws, wires, and so on, but if your item needs a specific new part, you will need to pay for that yourself. Now, we can't guarantee a successful repair every time. But if something is truly beyond repair, we have a, quote, parts harvesting table where you can leave the item for others to take for spare parts. It's all about reusing as much as possible. Our team of volunteers have a wide range of skills. For small electrical items, like a toaster or a lamp, our experts can help you check the wiring and clean contacts to get them working again. For bicycles, we have a fantastic volunteer who can help you with basic maintenance, like how to adjust brakes and fix punctures. If you have clothing that needs mending, our sewing team is brilliant at fixing things like torn seams and fallen hems. For garden tools, we have a sharpening station, so if you have blunt shears or spades, bring them along, and we can show you how to sharpen tools safely. We also have a corner for jewelry repair, where our volunteer can help you restring beads on a broken necklace, for example. And a very popular station is for children's toys, where our volunteers are experts at things like replacing batteries and reattaching loose parts. So we'd love to see you at our next event. Bring a broken item, or just come along for a cup of tea and see what it's all about.
Part 3. Now look at Part 3. You will hear two business students, Chloe and Ben, discussing their presentation on the decline of traditional retail with their tutor, Dr. Anwar. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Okay, Chloe, Ben, let's talk through your plan for the presentation on the decline of traditional retail. What was your biggest challenge when you started your research?
I think we were just overwhelmed by the amount of information available. It's such a huge topic, it was hard to know where to begin.
A very common problem. A clear focus is key. Let's look at your outline, the introduction. You say you're going to talk about the topic, but what is your actual argument? The main argument is unclear. You need a strong thesis statement.
Okay, a clearer thesis. Then for our case study, we looked at a local bookshop that closed down. We've just listed the events leading up to its closure.
It's a good start, but the analysis is too descriptive. You need to go deeper and explain the wider economic forces that led to those events.
Right, more analysis. For this section on logistics and supply chains, we found some general information, but it's not very concrete.
I agree. This section is a bit vague. More specific data is needed here. For example, statistics on delivery times or warehouse costs.
We'll look for that.
Then we have our consumer survey. We managed to survey 20 people.
That's a good start. But for a piece of research like this, the sample size is too small to draw any firm conclusions. You must acknowledge that as a limitation in your report.
We will. And finally, our conclusion. We've just repeated our main points.
A summary is not a conclusion. Your conclusion is too weak. You need to end with a strong final thought, perhaps looking to the future.
So Ben, what was the most interesting thing you found from the survey?
For me, the most surprising finding was how many people, especially older people, said they miss the social aspect of shopping. They don't just go to shops to buy things, but for the human interaction. I hadn't really considered that.
That's a powerful insight. And as I said, the logistics section needs more data. I advise you to look for industry reports that have statistics on transport costs, as that's a key factor in the shift to online.
Statistics on transport costs. Okay. And for the bookshop case study, how can we make it more analytical?
Well, maybe we could try to get an interview with the owner. Hearing their personal perspective would add a lot of depth.
An interview with the owner would be excellent primary research. A great idea. So what's your immediate plan now?
I think before we do any more research, we need to restructure our plan. The most useful thing would be to write a clear question for each section we need to answer. That will keep our research focused.
Exactly. A guiding question for each section is a very effective strategy. Start with that.
Part 4. Now look at Part 4. You will hear a lecture on the psychological concept of flow state. You will now have some time to look at the questions.
Good morning. In our last lecture we discussed motivation. Today I want to explore a related concept that is central to a happy and productive life. The psychological state known as flow. The term was coined by the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He described flow as a state of optimal experience, where you feel a sense of energized focus, full involvement, and enjoyment in the process of an activity. It's often described as being "flow, in the zone." So what does it feel like to be in flow? The first key characteristic is a state of complete absorption in what you are doing. You are so focused that everything else seems to disappear. Secondly, there is a sense of effortless control. You feel that you are in command of your actions and can execute them perfectly. This is accompanied by a distorted sense of time. Hours can feel like minutes, or minutes can seem to stretch out. There are also several conditions that must be met for flow to occur. The activity must have a clear set of goals. You need to know what you are doing and why. And critically, the activity must provide immediate feedback, so you can adjust your performance as you go. Perhaps the most important condition is that there must be a good balance between the level of challenge the activity presents and the level of your own personal skills. If the task is too easy for your skill level, you'll experience boredom. If the challenge is too high for your skill level, you'll experience anxiety. Flow exists in that perfect channel between boredom and anxiety. Furthermore, to achieve flow, you need to be able to concentrate fully. This requires a complete lack of distraction. It's why it's so hard to get into flow in a busy, open-plan office, for example. Another key aspect is that the activity is autotelic, a term which means it contains its own purpose or goal. You do it not for some future benefit, but because the experience of doing it is its own intrinsic reward. You are motivated by the enjoyment of the activity itself. The benefits of achieving flow are enormous. Research has shown that people who regularly experience flow report higher levels of happiness, satisfaction, and self-esteem. It is also intrinsically linked to increased creativity, as it allows us to make new connections and explore ideas without self-consciousness. Ultimately, we can learn to experience more flow in our lives. We can't force it to happen, but we can engineer the conditions for it to emerge by seeking out absorbing activities that challenge us and provide clear goals. By doing so, we can improve not only our performance, but our overall quality of life.
And pencils down. You've survived another IELTS listening marathon. If your brain feels like it just ran a mental obstacle course, congratulations. That means you're doing it right. Want to torture yourself with more tests? We mean enhance your skills? Head to Spinta.org. That's Spinta.org, where we've got reading, writing, speaking practice, and vocabulary games that are actually fun. Yes, fun and IELTS in the same sentence. We're rebels like that. Thanks for listening with Spinta. Now go treat yourself to something nice. You've earned it. Spinta. Push forward. Achieve more.